Well, welcome back to Project Kit Fox Garage. We've got another scooter to review. This is the Turboant V8, and let me knock this box down here. Pretty excited to check this one out. Now, when Turboant heard about the Varla scooter review, they said, you know, we have a more powerful scooter and we want you to check it out. So this is their brand new version. It's got a range of 50 miles, which exceeds anything else we've tried. So I'm anxious to see if that's actually going to do 50 miles or not. It also is a little bit more transportable than the Varla. The Varla is big and it is heavy. So getting it in and out of the airplane, you can do it, but it is a pretty heavy scooter. This one's quite a bit lighter and it folds up completely different than any of the other ones. The other one's the top bar just folds down. This one, the whole chassis folds up, so it kind of moves the tire up. So we'll take a look at that. Other than that, it's got, you know, your basic 20 mile per hour speed, can handle up to 275 pound person. It's got 3 speed settings, cruise mode or cruise control, and a 450 watt motor. So nowhere near the motor power of the Varla with the 2000 watt ones. But, you know, the advantage is it doesn't weigh a ton like the Varla. So let's open it up here. I'll speed through this because you know how fun unboxings are. So let me just get this out of the box real quick. All right, guys, so I got the new Turboant V8 scooter put together. There were instructions, just had to look a little deeper on that. It was a little difficult to get the holes lined up on the handlebars to the neck. It just took a little bit of fiddling to get it to line up the holes to get the screws in. Kind of a pain, actually. But once I got them on, then it fit just fine. You can see this one folds up quite a bit different. Over here's the X7 from Turboant, and it just basically the whole top stem folds down. They went with a different design here, and one of the things, you know, my complaint, remember the complaint I had about the Varla scooter was because there's that seam, you kind of get a little bit of play in that neck. I'm assuming, I haven't ridden it yet, but I think this design is going to eliminate that play because it's all one solid piece from the wheel up. So you're not going to get that movement, that flex in that joint. I also, when I saw this with the front wheel lifting up, you know, you're kind of moving that back a little bit. I thought, oh, maybe the overall distance will be shorter and it'll be easier to pack into the airplane. Unfortunately, that's not the case. You can slide the 7 up next to it and you can see that the V8 extends a little bit past. So the overall length is longer. I wasn't expecting that. So it may be a little bit more difficult to fit into the airplane than the X7 is. I do have the option with my extended baggage that I can take down that curtain in the back and put it in there. But for the guys that don't have that, the X7 is shorter overall. The trade-off is less range. So with the new V8 big battery here, we're looking at about 50 mile range is what they're claiming. We'll have to give that a test and see. Let me show you how it pops up into riding position. There's a lever down here. If you release, the top comes up, it clicks, and then you push this forward and it locks. So pretty slick, really easy to put back into riding position. And when it's down, in the down position, you release it. It also clicks when it gets down right there, and then now you can carry it. You don't have to latch anything back here like you do on the X7. So again, release, lift, clicks, lock. Throughout your kickstand, you're good to go. I currently have the battery out charging. We're going to top that off so we make sure we have a full charge on it before we go play with it. But that's basically the introduction to the V8. We'll get out and give it a test. And what we're going to do, I'm kind of been waiting for quite a while to get these out into a, you know, a good fly-in environment. We're going to take them to High Sierra. So we leave tomorrow. Or I leave tomorrow. I've got a buddy who's driving over, so we're gonna load all the scooters up into his trailer. He's gonna drive over. I'm gonna take one of these in the airplane with me over in case I get there before him. I have some transportation. But we'll be ripping around on the playa, out on the dry lake bed on these. and see how they perform, see how they handle the dust, see how long the charge lasts, see if we can go several days without having to charge them. Last year I took my one wheel, and I've got the original one wheel design or version, and it doesn't have very good range. I think it's got like 5-6 mile range and it craps out. So I was constantly charging that thing up. Obviously a newer version of that, you wouldn't have that problem. But with these, with the big range, same with the other scooter, we should be able to run for several days without having to fire up the generator and charge these. But we'll also take advantage when the generator is running to top them off. So excited to get these out on the playa. We'll give them a real good break-in, see what everybody thinks. We're gonna let a lot of people ride them, and we'll get their opinions of the different versions, different scooters. So the new Turboant V8. All right, we're going for the big cruise. One wheel scooters, bikes, bring what you got.
Watch your blind spot.
All right, guys, just got back from the High Sierra 2022, and I want to wrap up this review of this Turboant V8 scooter. I took this scooter along with two others out there to the lake bed, and of the three, this was the only scooter I didn't have to charge in a 4-day event out on the lake bed where we were riding these quite a bit. And the reason I didn't have to charge it, and I didn't realize it at first, is there is a battery in the neck that you can remove and you can charge on this remote charging station, but they gave you a second battery charger, and that's because there's a second battery in the deck, and that's what makes it last so long. There's up to a 50-mile range on this. So once I got back, power this thing up, it still has just under half battery after 4 days of quite a bit of riding. So I could probably get another 10-15 miles out of this thing still with the battery, and I never charged it the whole week. So it was pretty impressive. Some other things I learned about it that was really, I didn't know about when I took it out of the box, is there is rear suspension. There's a little swing arm and two springs inside the deck here allows that rear wheel to flex and give you some rear suspension, which is really nice, makes for a good ride. The controls are quite a bit simpler than the other scooters. So it has the same throttle as the X7, but it doesn't have the menu button on it. So there's very simple and not a whole lot of features when it comes to electronics. There's on, 3 different modes, and turning the light on and off. That's it. There also is cruise control. So if you hold the throttle down for, I think it's 6 seconds at a consistent setting, it will lock in that speed. You can take your thumb off the throttle. So cruising the lake bed, that's really nice. You can just set it in cruise control, then a tap of the throttle or brake turns it back off again. On the X7, it has the same thing, and you are able to turn it on and off on the X7. I didn't dive in to see if you can turn it off on here or not. It can catch you by surprise sometimes when you're doing a quick run and you just hit that 6 seconds and you come off the throttle and it doesn't slow down, it just keeps going. So you got to be aware of that cruise control. The other thing that's a little bit different about this one over the X7, and it is the same feature as the Turboant M10, is if you hop on it and hit the throttle, nothing happens. Doesn't go anywhere. You actually have to physically give it a kick and get it moving and then push the throttle down for it to go. If you hold the throttle down and kick it, it still won't go. So you have to have your hand off the throttle, give it a push, then hit the throttle and go. So that kind of can catch you if you're a new rider. I was letting everyone ride this, and I had to explain that to them. But once you figure it out, it is kind of a safety feature. That's so if you're standing there talking to somebody and you hit that throttle, it doesn't just rocket off and smash into something, which almost happened to me on the Barlow scooter. When I was standing next to an airplane, I squeezed the throttle instead of the brake and almost launched the scooter into an airplane, which would have been bad. So I think that's probably why they have a feature like that. This thing does fold up really easily, really quickly. Front wheel drive, like I said, 50-mile range. This is a great option, and Turboant really does have a great line of scooters now. With this one being added to it, you have the M10, which is lightweight, a little bit less of a range, but it's lighter, and that's the advantage to that one. You have the X7, which is a great all-around scooter. Love the X7. It's just really lightweight, but still gives you about 30 miles. And then you have the V8, which really gives you a range, 50 miles, a little bit heavier because of the 2 batteries. Folds up, it's a little bit longer overall, so the size of this one is a little bit bigger. But I think it's a great complement to their line of scooters, especially if you want to get a whole week of riding without having to worry about charging. This particular scooter didn't have to charge it. It did a great job. You can see how dirty it is. We put this thing through the test. I mean, if it can handle a week out at High Sierra, this thing is durable. So check it out in the link below. Thank you to Turboant for sending out this scooter for us to review. And I really had a good time sharing these scooters out on the lake bed with everybody. We had people riding everything we had, and it just really made for a fun weekend. The people show up in their airplane, they don't have any transportation. We had these extra scooters to let everybody give them a try. And we actually had that one big cruise where we had hundreds of people on bikes and one wheels and scooters and ATVs and motorcycles all cruising the lake bed. It was really a fun event. So thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Check out the Turboant scooter.